Thank you very much. Quickly, we're going to try and talk about estate planning, which nobody really likes to get up and talk about dying. So we're trying as advisors to turn something that is often not spoken about into something that's very easy to talk about. 30 years ago or so, when I started in the business, before I was an investment advisor, I was in the insurance business, and everything that we focused on was all about tax and saving people money if they had taxable estates. And for those that didn't have taxable estates, it was all about family security, and that what created the need for insurance. As I became an advisor, I realized that there weren't many of our peers that were focusing on planning, estate planning, and the importance of that, and it became a differentiator. And I'd scratch my head all the time wondering why advisors were not talking about estate planning. As time moved forward, I'd slowly find advisors that talked about estate planning, but in the sense that they would ask someone, do you have an estate plan? Yep, check the box, move on to the next thing. The better advisors would do a little bit more. They might say, if you don't have an estate plan, let me refer you to someone who refers me business. But there wasn't a deep understanding of the client's plan and what they were doing and what they should be doing. So the essence of the business that I created in serving clients was all about talking about their estate, the things that were important to them, how they raise their children, et cetera. And the financial planning and investment part became secondary. But what was most important about it is it became a total wealth discussion. So you knew what they had. It created an intimate discussion. You know how they felt about money. You know how they felt about their kids. You knew what their health was. You knew the family members they liked and didn't like. You knew who their trusted people were from their trustees. It ended up creating more asset gathering because you knew the entire financial statement, but it changed my business and helped us grow to be a very nice size RIA. The essence of Vanilla, the software that we created, was basically taking what we did in our minds that we knew, that we put into Excel and made pretty, and turned it into a piece of software that any advisor can use. So ideally, advisors should be able to ask a client if they know something about, if they have a plan, and if the answer is no, direct them right into software to execute a plan and make that very, very simple. And that's one of the things that we did. The next thing is, if they do have a plan, is understanding that plan. And we found, even in our own shop, when I would ask our top advisors, do you know if all of your clients have plans? They say, yep. I say, do you have copies of them? They say, yep. Where is it? It's in box. We go look in box, and sure enough, everything was in there. But when we'd ask, do you understand the plan? The answer was often no. So the first problem we wanted to solve was understanding the plan, having someone abstract the plan and create a very visual, easy to digest solution so that they could talk to their client about ways to improve that plan. From there, it was giving them the tools to execute on that plan. And so the tech-driven estate planning revolution, or evolution, I think, because in our industry it seems to take 10 to 20 years to really have things penetrate the industry. We are now in a place where you can get documents done quickly and inexpensively online, where you can connect all of your accounts and see where everything falls from a taxable and non-taxable estate plan, understand whether you should have things in a trust or not in a trust, and create a very dynamic platform where other advisors can interface with you and your client about their wealth and their estate plan. And as I said, and if you walk away with nothing other than understanding how talking to clients about their plan creates an intimate relationship, that's the number one thing I'd want you to take home, because that intimacy in the relationship means more assets under management, if that's important to you, helping them achieve their goals, which should be important to you, and it's a path to understanding the next generation and having that conversation with their kids. So I find as we go through the tech, which is dynamic, and show them what's going where, and we can turn off dollars and have a discussion with the kids about how the plan is going to lay out, it's no longer a static piece of paper that says, here's what your plan is. And by the way, it was updated 6 months ago when I saw the attorney. And it means nothing to the kids. It's now an interactive experience for the family, for the advisor, spurs different conversations. So everything that we're trying to do in creating this tech-driven estate planning revolution, I'm happy to see we got in early. Now there's lots of players in the space, which is fantastic. Some are focusing on just documents. Some are focusing on the entire platform. We want to be in the platform space where an insurance agent can upload insurance information. The lawyer can upload documents or see the documents that were already in place. The investment advisor can see the investments, and everybody can get permissioned in to whatever they want to see. And we want it to be dynamic and great looking and very easy to understand for consumers. Everything in English. Estate planning doesn't need to be complicated. So what I don't have is a clock to see how much time we've got, so I want to make sure I'm not going too long. 13 minutes. Okay. One of the great things we were able to do was bring on a partner, and I brought on a much bigger partner than me, both in stature and in company size, is Markus from Vanguard. And Vanguard we've had years and years of relationship with, but when we pitched this idea to them, it was important because estate planning is important to Vanguard. And I want to give Markus a few minutes to talk about it, and then I'll come back and hit on some additional things.
Thanks, Steve. So maybe let's backtrack. I've known Steve for now a little bit over 5 years. When I was at Betterment, and I came into the wealth industry progressively. I was first at Palantir and then Betterment. And we kind of bonded over the fact that technology, client experiences had to improve to serve clients better. We're really focused, everyone in this room is focused on delivering great outcomes for clients. At the end of the day, the customer experience matters, and technology and the digital experience matters too. And so at Betterment, we started working on Betterment for Advisors together, allowing advisors to use the Betterment platform. And then I joined Vanguard around 3 years ago to set up this strategic business development function, which is basically figuring out how to partner with the whole ecosystem to deliver better experiences, better capabilities, helping both advisors and the end investor to deliver that experience. One of the first themes that obviously came about when we worked together was direct indexing, and then estate planning was an obvious second. If we think about where financial planning was 10, 15, 20 years ago, I think that's where estate planning is today. And we really wanted to push the boundaries there. We spent a lot of time thinking about outcomes for our clients, and at the end of the day, if you don't have a good estate plan in place, that all gets negated at the moment of the wealth transfer. And so we were looking for a platform that could enable both the advisors we work with and the advisors we have in-house to better deliver estate planning. But there was a realization of all the solutions that came about. There was really 3 things we were trying to solve. The first one was estate planning is inherently a networked problem. You've got the advisor, you've got the attorney, sometimes you've got the CPA, the accountant, the client, and without a good digital experience between all of those folks, it was really suboptimal. I remember going through my first estate plan, and it was running back and forth between papers between the advisor and the attorney, and having sometimes the same conversation twice. So we really wanted a platform that was first built with both the advisor, the attorney, and the client in mind. And a lot of the platforms that we saw were focused on the D2C aspect first, and then the advisor as an afterthought. The second aspect was, and I think Vanilla put some studies out there, but how it affects the entire wealth population. I think the number was 15% of clients with over 25 million in AUM don't have an estate plan. 65% of the ones below 1 million don't have an estate plan. And so we wanted a solution that spanned across the whole wealth spectrum. And then finally, estate planning, all of the solutions that we've seen to date were focused on a one-time problem. Let's create an estate plan and then let's move on. And the reality is that decays. You've got life events, you've got changes in taxes, you've got a whole handful of things that require you to treat this dynamically. And Vanilla was the one platform that allowed us to go through that. So we started partnering, I believe it was a year ago. We made an investment in the company. We're using it in-house, and we're partnering with third-party advisors to use the platform too. And really, it's about the digital experience and enabling all of those parties to come and work together.
Yeah, Vanguard's been a great partner because their client base covers everything from a small client with just a mutual fund all the way up to their largest clients, and they want to serve all those well. I would say to you as advisors, if you're not talking to your clients about your plan, the first thing you should talk to every client about is, do they have an estate plan? If the answer is yes, then do you understand the plan? Does the client understand the plan? There's some easy knockout questions. But you don't have to become an expert anymore. The technology will do the work for you. You just need to be engaged in the conversation. And I can't think of anything worse, and unfortunately I've seen it, where someone hasn't had a plan and they've died, and it creates havoc for those who survive. Or worse yet, they're a single parent and they don't have a plan. So the basics of what we do is take care of families. Financial planning didn't exist the way it exists today 10 years ago. Markus mentioned it. Technology has made that much, much easier for all of us. This is the next frontier. And so, as I said, that conversation is important, but it's important to have the deep, deep conversation with them about what does money mean to them, how do they visualize it, and do they understand where it's going to go? Because how often do you have a conversation with someone about their estate plan? They're like, check your fiduciaries. Joe, Bob, and Billy are my trustees. Joe's dead. I don't talk to Billy anymore, and I hate Bobby. And those are people's plans, that they haven't updated the basics in their plan, or they don't have one. So tech's going to make this easy. You just need to have the conversation. And that's the most important thing that we really want to accomplish, is to simplify estate planning, and that's what technology should do for consumers and advisors alike. So hope that helps, and I hope you get a chance to stop by and see the tech in action.